Hello guys, in this lecture we are going to learn about fuses, resistors and their materials, and also we are going to see some of the applications of conducting materials. Let's start with fuses. What is the fuse? Fuse is essentially a short piece of metal which melts when an excessive current flowing through it. That current is known as fusing current. The circuit is then interrupted, and so the damage due to the fault is prevented at the expense of the fuse. Next is rated carrying current of fuse. Rated carrying current of a fuse is the maximum current which it carry safely without any undue heating and melting. Next, fusing current. Fusing current is the minimum current to fuse the wire in such a time interval as shall be necessary for the wire to have attained its steady temperature. Fusing time. The important characteristics of a fuse material is the current time relationship. For wire in which the heat is dissipated largely by radiation rather than by conduction at the ends, the fusing current is found from the relation as I is equals to A into D raised to N, where I is nothing but fusing current in ampere, small d, D is the diameter of the conductor of the fuse wire in centimeter, and small a is a constant of material. The value of constant small a for some material is shown in here table. As you can see, for the material, for the copper the value of a is nothing but 2530. For aluminum material the constant is 1870. For iron it is of 777. For tin it is of 405.5, and for lead it is of 304.6. The rating of any fuse depends entirely on its dimensions, mounting, surrounding powders or liquids, and also depends on enclosures and other factors which affect its heat dissipating capacity and its ability to extinguish arc after fusing. Most suitable fuse materials are generally low melting point materials such as lead, tin, cadmium, bismuth, and their alloys. This table shows this table shows some metals and their melting point which are used as fuse element. Copper can be used as fuse element, but its melting point is much high. It is of 1084 degrees Celsius. Aluminium having a melting point of 659 degrees Celsius. Lead element is having 327 degrees Celsius. Cadmium having 321 degrees Celsius. Bismuth 271 degrees Celsius. Tin having 232 degrees Celsius, and indium having 156.4. If you are looking these elements, As per this sequence of this element, the melting point is going to decrease. So copper is having a highest melting point and indium having a lowest melting point. Copper is having higher melting point and indium having lower melting point. And this table shows the composition in percentage and their melting points. Bi, this element is nothing but bismuth, lead, this is nothing but tin and cadmium. Bismuth, lead, tin, cadmium. The composition is shown with the different values, and as per the composition, the melting points are given. If bismuth is of 52% and lead is of 25%, tin of 13%, and cadmium of 10%, then melting point of that composition is nothing but 72 degrees Celsius. Similarly, for bismuth with 54 degrees Celsius, lead of 26%, and cadmium having 20%, then the total melting point is of 103 degrees Celsius. Next composition is lead of 32%, tin of 50%, and cadmium of 18%. Then melting point is 145 degrees Celsius. If you are considering 50% of bismuth and 50% of lead, then the melting point is higher than the previous, that is of 160 degrees Celsius. And last composition is the combination of bismuth and tin, bismuth of 20% and tin is having 80% composition. Then melting point of that composition is 200 degrees Celsius. These are the composition and the melting points of some fusible alloys. Let's see the types of fuses. Fuses may be of low voltage type or high voltage type. Low voltage type fuses can be divided into two classes, namely semi-enclosed rewirable fuses and the cartridge fuses. Semi-enclosed type of fuses have one or more strands of fuse wire stretched between the two terminals. This type of fuses have limited use, usually at power points where very low values of fault current are to be handled. A high rupturing capacity, that is called as HRC fuse, that is nothing but cartridge fuse, in its simple form consists of a ceramic body having metal end caps to which are welded fusible silver. The space within the body surrounding the elements is completely packed with a filling powder. The current increases due to the fault and the fuse operates. This type of fuse is reliable and has inverse time characteristics. High voltage is HRC cartridge type of fuse. Similarly, in construction, as low voltage designs are used up to 33 kilovolt. High voltage HRC liquid type fuses have the widest range of application to high voltage systems. They may be used for voltage transformer protection or for circuits up to about 400 ampere rated current on the system up to 132 kilovolt or higher. The liquid which surrounds the fuse elements helps to extinguish the arc when the fuse blows. Next is resistors. Resistors are integral part of all electronic circuits and some electrical circuits. They can be general purpose resistors or highly stable resistors. General purpose resistors are of carbon composition having a tolerance of 5 to 20% in value. High stability resistors include metal film, ceramic, metal foil, and wire wound resistors with tolerance of 0.1 to 5%. The most widely used materials for precision resistors are manganese of 84%, manganese having 84% of copper, 12% of manganese, and 4% nickel. Constantan, which is nothing but alloy of copper with 40 to 60% nickel. Next is nickel chromium alloys, which is having a very small size and high temperature, and gold chromium alloys also used as a precision resistors. The other materials used for resistors include tungsten, carbon, and platinum. The materials used for potentiometers as a transducer are nothing but platinum, nickel, chromium, nickel copper, etc. The operating current may be high, so they should have low resistance temperature coefficient. The material used for strain gauges used as a transducers for measurement of strain and stress should have high resistance, low temperature coefficient, and should not have any hysteresis effect in its response, and also have linear characteristics and good frequency response. The popular metals are alloys used for construction of resistance wire. Strain gauge are nothing but nichrome. Nichrome, it is a composition of nickel of 80% and chromium of 20%. And also the materials used like constantan, which is composition of nickel of 45% and copper of 55%. And also nickel and platinum used as a resistance via strain gauges. The resistance of conductor changes when its temperature is changed. This property is utilized for the measurement of temperature. Platinum is used as the primary element in all high accuracy resistance thermometers. It can withstand high temperature while maintaining excellent stability. The basic requirements of resistance temperature detectors are nothing but change in resistance per unit change in temperature should be as large as possible, should have high value of resistivity, and material should have stable relationship with temperature. The material used and the temperature range of measurement are platinum, which is having a range of -260 to 110 degrees Celsius, copper having range of 0 to 180 degrees Celsius, Nickel, it is having minus 220 to 300 degrees Celsius, and tungsten, it is having minus 200 to 1000 degrees Celsius. Let's see some applications of conducting materials. First is conductors or transmission lines or cables. The materials for conductors for an overhead transmission line should have a high tensile strength for large spans and small sag. The conductor should have low resistivity to reduce I2R losses and voltage drop. Overhead line conductors are invariably stranded to make them more flexible during erection and while in service. A stranded conductor has a central wire and one or more layers of conductors over the central wire. Each layer is twisted in the sense opposite to the layer below in order to increase mechanical strength of the conductor. Typically, that stranded conductor is called as ACSR conductor. ACSR, that is aluminum conductor steel reinforced. Aluminum conductor steel reinforced, that is ACSR conductors. Hard drawn copper, which has advantage of very high conductivity, good tensile strength, and weather resistance properties, was used for the construction of lines earlier. Now, invariably, ACSR conductors having aluminum wires stranded around a core of single or multiple strand galvanized steel wire are used. Aluminum provides the necessary conductivity while still provide necessary mechanical strength. Normally, stranded aluminum conductors are used for cables. Next, conductors for electrical machines. The fundamental requirements to be met by high conductivity materials to be used for electrical machines are: first is highest possible conductivity, second, least possible temperature coefficient, third, adequate mechanical strength, fourth, rollability and drawability, fifth, good weldability and solderability, and last one, adequate resistance to corrosion. Next application is transformers. For most of the transformers, copper is conducting material. Although in small conductors, aluminum are also used. Round copper wires are normally used in small size transformers, whereas rectangular copper conductors are used for medium and large transformers. Depending on the types of transformers, means core type transformer or shell type transformer, and the type of winding. The type of winding means cylindrical winding, helical winding, it may be a disc type winding, etc. As per this, the conductor arrangement is made. Next application is DC machines. The DC machines have three major parts: field system, armature, and commutator. The shunt field coils of DC machine are wound with round copper wire for small and medium size machines. But for large size machines, rectangular conductors are used. In DC machines, two-layer winding with diamond-shaped coils is used for medium machines. In a large machines, There is only 1 ton per coil and the conductors are made of a rectangular strip. Copper is the conducting material for armature winding. Commutator is built up of a number of small wedge-shaped segments of high conductivity, hard-drawn copper, insulated from each other by sheet mica or micanite. Some modern DC machines have commutator segments made from silvered copper. The brushes could be of naturally graphite, hard copper, graphitic, or metal graphite. Next application is three-phase induction motor. A polyphase induction motor consists of two parts, the stator and rotor. The stator has three-phase winding made of copper conductors. The rotors are of two types. First is phase wound rotor and second squirrel cage rotor. The phase wound rotor, the windings of which is similar to the three-phase winding on stator. The ends of windings are brought out and connected to slip rings. The conductors of winding is copper and the slip rings are made up of either brass or phosphorus bronze. In squirrel cage rotor, copper bars are placed in the rotor slots. Rotor bars are short-circuited at the end by solid end rings made up of copper or brass or aluminum. Sometimes for small motors, aluminum bars are used. In a 2 cage induction motor, the bars of upper cage are made of brass or special bronze. And the last application is synchronous generators. For both the stator, that is armature, or rotor, or that is field windings, the conducting materials used is copper, normally in the form of copper bars. The strip for the rotor or field winding are made up of steel or sometimes nickel. The damper bars in field poles when used are copper bars. These are the some applications of conducting materials. Thank you very much.